Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, September 7th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's going to open in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick. And we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Let's get a couple of things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right. That's good. All right, looks like we're good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Good. All right, I'll give it a few moments for people to make their way in, and we'll get started shortly. Looks like links are sent out. Send this in one last place. Looks like we're good to go, guys. All right, guys. We'll move these people in. All right, guys. Morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, September 7th. It is 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and start market liquidity over here at the liquidity chart. I'm just going to mark up liquidity at like the closest levels, guys, because it's kind of pointless for us to mark up, every level, as you guys can see. I'm not really expecting price to push super far, at least not yet. So I'm going to go ahead and start market levels over here. That should be good. Go down to the daily. Go down to the 8-hour. Yeah, because I'm not expecting price to push like, 5,000 pips today. It's nothing crazy. It's not like it's NFP or anything like that. So I'm just going to mark up the stuff that's nearby. Stuff that's actually relevant to current price. 2-hour. Mm-hmm. 1 hour. Go down to the 30-minute. Yeah, like even these levels up here, I don't expect them to get hit. Like so far from current price. 15-minute. Minute. All right, and we're pretty much done. All right, so looking at liquidity over here, closest level of liquidity is going to be this lower level right here. It's a low level, so if you want to take it, probably only 100 pips. One thing that I went over with like a couple people yesterday was basically a version 2 to the breakout. A lot of people like taking the breakout because it's a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio type strategy. I'm going to be testing a variation to it today. I did some back tests, and the back tests were actually really good. The win rate isn't very high because obviously it's a 1-to-1 risk to reward. But I did a back test with all the data that I could find. And for that strategy right there for the V2, it's about a 66% win rate, 12 wins, 6 losses, total profit of 6 times 250 because each trade is 250 pips. So about 1,500 pips within the last about a month, which is pretty solid. So I'll be looking for possible entry. Applying that, I'll be testing it. I'll probably take it on just one top step. And then, we'll see how it goes. If it works out well, then, maybe it'll become a staple. If not, then, we'll just see where it goes. So I'm looking for 2 green candles right here. We have a green momentum right here. I'm looking for a green candle here and a green candle right after. If we get that, then that's going to be basically a V2 or a version 2 of the breakout. I'll be testing it to see. I'll probably take on like one of my top steps because steps I won't like be too risky on the other one, but it's a 1-to-1, so it's a pretty, I would consider it a decent type of strategy probably to maybe run. So 25. Only problem here is that this candle is super overextended, as you guys can see. So basically just looking for 2 green candles here. If this one closes, then we're going to look for another one right after. And then it'll be an entry for 250 pips. Again, this is one that you guys it's just in testing phase, guys. So, you don't have to take, well, you probably shouldn't be taking it. But the only way I'll know if this works is if someone tests it, right? And if nobody wants to test it, I'll be the one that has to test it. So I'm just looking for a green candle here. If this candle closes green, it's going to be a possible entry for that buy that I was telling you guys about. If it doesn't, then, and I'm just going to take it on like one account. One top step. It keeps moving kind of crazy like this, and I can't tell if it's going to be green or not. Probably hold off on it. We'll see. We got the countdown right there. Let's see. Actually, I wasn't even able to take it on my. I forgot on my group trading, so brackets weren't allowed on there. Shit, never mind, guys. Yeah, I was trying to test it out, but the group trading wasn't allowed. Over here. So it's pushing up. Let's see where it's at right now. Pushing up right there, and we had. I had on my MC4, made about 5,000 on that trade. That was pretty clean. So the strategy works. Gian said your rules after 631. That's a different strategy. I don't know if you looked at the breakout one. So for the breakout right here, it's identify. So you want to identify direction. Basically, it could happen before. So what you're looking for is basically two back-to-back candles after 630. So market open right here at 630. You already had a bullish momentum. Yeah, I know you're talking about the other one before, but this is the breakout 2.0. So you guys can see this is a pretty good strategy because it's a 1-to-1. I just logged in. I took it on my MC4 accounts, logged in 5,420. on this trade right here, it's a one-to-one. The good thing about this strategy is that it's a one-to-one, so that you can like basically, like if you lose a trade, it's fine because you'll make it back on the next one, versus like the other strategies that are negative risk to reward, where you have to take like 2 or 3 trades to, win it back. And from the data over here, and I'll keep adding data here. If you guys are on the Discord channel, here, let me just take a screenshot of this real quick, because I'm testing these out, so I have to keep documentation of this. So, and I'll show you the reason why I looked at this, because I'm not sure if you guys have been looking at the Discord, but I've been pretty much documenting every single trade from like the earlier this year. So let me just go ahead and change some updates over here. I don't remember the last time we used the breakout. It's probably been, I'll just go to breakout here. The last time we took a breakout was it's like in January. Yeah, we haven't taken the breakouts in January, but the breakout's like a favorite strategy for a lot of you guys. That's the reason why I decided to bring it back. So price is still climbing right there. Breakout entry. And this is like part of like the original breakout. Breakout 2.0. Or not breakout 2.0, breakout V2 entry. Breakout 2.0 is even different. Yeah, so big profit right there. And you guys will see my my copier. I added like 2 more accounts. So I added 2 accounts from 2 different funding companies. So I actually made a lot of profit on that trade. I tried to take it on my top step, but the top step didn't let me. It didn't let me take it because I had the copier on. That's why I don't like the copier on top step, because it's different. You can't just copy it and let the trade run. But let me go over here real quick. See, Randy said you probably lower lot size. No, so there'd be no need to lower lot size because you're taking the same trade. It doesn't make a difference. The other trades we have a 250 pips stop loss already, so it doesn't make a difference. If you're applying liquidity, it's the same thing. Top liquidity just got hit, guys. So if you guys took this entry right here that I marked up as well, that also hit. So it wouldn't make a difference, Randy, because you're still doing a 250 stop loss regardless. If you're doing a momentum pullback scalp, it's 250 stop loss. The only thing here is that you have a higher upside. Yeah, you'd only be down 2.5% if you're using the max lot size, right? You could lose 5% a day. We don't plan on like really losing any trades. So yeah, if you want to lower your risk, you can lower your lot size. But for me, the thing is, like, this strategy, if it hits in the beginning, it sets me so far ahead. It basically counts me for like 3 trades for the day, right? So I'm pretty much solid. And it has such a high win rate. So I did the calculations over here. There's so many wins over here. So the reason why I looked at this, guys, is because if you guys look at the Discord, so I don't know if you guys have been looking, but I created a new channel here. It's called Trading Journal. If you go over here, I have all the live results. Well, basically, I just did January, but I did all of the live results here. So if you click on this, it'll take you to my spreadsheet. And you guys can see here for January, we had about the 26 trades. We had 23 wins and 3 losses for an 88.5% win rate. If you look over here, all the wins, they're all from breakouts, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. So the breakout was working like a lot back then. We like to apply it. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to combine what I'm doing now with the breakout. So the problem with the breakout back in the day was that a lot of people couldn't figure out what was a strong candle and what wasn't, right? Because technically the breakout would have been this candle right here. So you would have entered a little bit earlier at this one. But the problem is a lot of people had trouble identifying, okay, what's a strong candle and what isn't. So what I did here is I pretty much switched out the requirement for looking for a strong candle. Instead of being subjective, I'm just like, okay, I look for 2 green candles, like how we're doing over here for the momentum counter scalp. And the reason why I'm kind of shifting direction a little bit, I mean, the momentum counter scalp is still fine. I have data over here from the momentum counter scalp too. If you go to the Discord, go to momentum counter scalp, click on the Google Sheets right there. And I have all the data right here as well. It's still pretty good. It's 13 wins and 2 losses for like the past month, 86.7% win rate. But the problem with this here is that it's still a negative risk to reward. So I think, overall, the breakout might be a better option for us to follow. Yeah, Gian said the counter just hit. So if you guys took the counter entry as well, so this is a breakout V2. This right here is a counter entry, price pushed up. You got 2 red candles right there, and then a counter entry would have came up at that point too. So there's like a lot of tools here in your arsenal. You can even apply this strategy if you guys wanted to. There's like all of these right here pretty much. Between the 6:30 and 7 o'clock time frame, right? So you have a lot of opportunities here to take entries. You know, the more tools that you have, the better. For me, I think breakout's pretty solid because it's a one-to-one. And I will take a screenshot of my profits. I got a lot of accounts now, guys. So you guys, I actually made a lot of profit on that one trade. And I got some slippage on it too, so it kind of worked out in my favor. Let's see, James is asking, we're still using the momentum pullback scalp. Yeah, that's the main strategy, James. So these are all testing strategies between 6:30 and 7. I'm testing these because once you move forward, we'll know what to use. So we have one between 6:30 and 7, and then we have one from 7 until close, right? Or 8 o'clock. So the momentum pullback scalp is still one of the main strategies. It's basically the only main strategy that's official. These right here are still in their testing phase. So again, like I was mentioning with the spreadsheet that I made over here, guys, I'm going to do every month. So looking over here, you guys can see how I have January. I'm going to do February, March, April, May, June, July. And this thing's going to be really useful to us because I'm basically preparing us for next year for 2024. So once we get to January 2024, I'm going to have all the data here, right? I'm going to say, okay, what strategies we're hitting in January of last year. So January 2024, we don't have to go and like adjust strategies. We're just going to go back and say, okay, the momentum scalps are working, the breakouts are working. We're going to use that again next year. And then for February, we're going to see, okay, what strategies we're hitting that year. So that we just run right into it, right? We don't have to think about, okay, what am I going to use a SR rejection scalp? Am I going to use a momentum pullback scalp? And am I going to use a pivot scalp, a high-low scalp, whatever it may be? I'm going to have all the data here. So guys, if you guys are on the Discord, don't sleep on these channels over here. I'm putting a lot of documentation, a lot of journals in here so that you guys have all this data. This is going to be beneficial for you because we're not going to get that question every year or every time someone joins, right? Hey, Sean, what's the best strategy? We'll go look at the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet will tell you what's the best strategy for like this time of the year so that you can see what's good and what's not, right? Like you can see here in January, the only losses were momentum scalp variation. So like maybe next year, I'm not going to apply momentum scalp variations. I'll just do momentum scalps and breakout V2s, right? The only losses here were momentum scalp variations and breakout 2.0. So we'll probably just skip the variation and skip the 2.0. We'll just go for like regular breakouts and then momentum scalps. So, these spreadsheets are going to be super useful for the coming year. So probably over the next couple of weeks, I'll keep updating and I'll basically document. And the cool thing about this too is if you ever want to go back and look, so say for example, like right here, right on January 3rd, we took this momentum scalp and you're like, oh, cool, I want to see what trade that was. You click on this button right here and it pulls up the trade. So you see exactly what trade we took and you're like, okay, that's what Sean took right there. That's why he took it. Or like if you're like, you forgot about how the breakout looks, you're like, okay, the breakout's right here on January 5th. We made 500 pips on that, right? Click on this right here. It takes you right to the trade. You're like, oh, that was a solid trade, like no drawdown at all. So I'm doing this to help you guys. Well, I'm doing it to help me because I'm trying to make as much money trading as possible. I don't really want to teach anymore. So I'm not really looking to mentor people anymore. I'm looking to just make money off trading. And with all this data that I have here, the thing is, we've been trading live for like 5 years now. So I have so much data. I can keep going back and back and back in data. And then I can just pull up all this data and figure out what works best during certain times of the year. Like right here, breakout 2.0. We haven't done this in forever. You go back there, we made 1,500 pips on this trade. Like this trade literally went straight to CP with no drawdown. So, yeah, I'm going to be looking at that. Let's see if there's any other entries here. So looking at this over here, let's see, William said, here is a possible pullback forming. Yeah, so we have another buy signal right here as another entry starting to form like William mentioned. So we have some news coming up over here at 7 o'clock. I think Harkin is going to be speaking. Yeah, we have Fed Harkin speaking at 7. So you want to be a little careful when the Fed starts speaking, right? Especially Harkin, because he's one of the main ones, or she's, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, but Harkin is like one of the main Fed speakers that typically speaks. So let me just see the news real quick. So there's news over here at 5:30. I just want to make sure everybody's aware because you don't want to be trading when there's crazy stuff happening in the market. So I'm gonna go to market news right there. I'm gonna go to markup opening price right here. Go over to the clean chart, do the same thing. Markup opening price. Right there. 6:30. Yeah, Daniel said it's going to be a second touch of liquidity right there. If you guys want to go and take that on the next touch, first touch already hit, so it's going to be looking nice right there. Let's see. But yeah, basically this is what I was doing all day yesterday. I was basically putting together these spreadsheets, and then I'm just like every day I'm putting more information on the Discord. So if you guys are not on the Discord yet, try to migrate to the Discord because the Telegram is so confusing where you can't really see a lot of stuff here. If you guys want to post your profits, go to the Discord channel right here where it says profits, team profits, and you guys can post your profits right over here. You guys can still post it in Telegram. I'll just transfer it over, but eventually, we're going to make our transition to Discord over here. And just a heads up, the Discord is not open to the public yet. So if you guys are not in premium, you guys won't have access to it until a little later. But right now it's just open to the premium because there's just some stuff that I have to fix and have to get through before I can really open it to the public like that. But yeah, all right, let's see. So I got how many accounts do I have? I have a lot of accounts. Okay, let me take a screenshot of my profits for the day. For the day and for the week, I got a lot of accounts here. Yeah, so I haven't really taken any trades this week, guys. I mean, I took a couple trades that I think I took a loss yesterday. I can't remember, but here are my profits for the day and the week so that you guys can kind of see where I'm sitting right now. So far. All right, so I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I'm pretty much done with those earlier entries. The next entry that we'll be looking for, let me see if there's any other news coming up. We got news at 7 o'clock, 7:30, and then 8. So just 7, 7:30, and 8. I'm gonna go and mark that up right here. Fed's gonna speak at 7, some oil news at 7:30, and then I'll start marking up the levels over here so that you guys can see. So you guys can start looking for some momentum pullback scalps. There hasn't been any entries here. Of course, you're looking for a buy right now, but there's just nothing to take right here at the moment. But I'll mark up the levels at current price so that you guys can kind of follow. The volatility is actually pretty decent right now. ATR is currently at 20. So, I mean, it's looking good for the most part. Looks good. All right, so there's no entries here for any momentum pullback scalps. All right, so here are my profits so far. I'll show you guys real quick. Give me a second. So here are my profits. There's no entries for us to take right now, so it's fine. Here are my profits so far, guys. So here's my accounts. Here's my first account. I don't know which account this is. I got so many accounts now. So I opened a new account with Funded Engineer. I might as well I kind of YOLO'd it. I bought 2 more accounts from 2 different funding companies. So this is my first account right here. It's Funded Engineer. It's a 200K account, locked in 3,050. Here is my F2MO number 1. I locked in a total profit of 3,010. Here is my FTMO number 3, locked in a total profit of 3,210. Here is my FTMO number 4 or whatever it may be. I don't know what it is. 3,110. This is my FTMO number 200K count. I merged one of them, the one that was getting a payout. Total profit of 5,419. Obviously, you guys can see which account's the bigger one because it's like double profit. And then this is my funded engineer 100K, locked in 1,520. This is my personal account. I locked in 964. This is my TFF number 1, locked in 3,365, and my other TFF locked in 3,165 as well. What are my profits for? Sorry guys, I gotta figure. That's weird. Because they're different account sizes, unless I put the wrong lot size. Anyways, I'll have to fix that later, but that's why. Okay, I put the wrong lot size. Yeah, it's all good. Whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, those are my profits so far. So I locked in some pretty good profit off just that breakout. So like, if you guys just want to take a breakout, I mean, you can do it because I've done the data here, and the breakout's actually pretty solid. Like at the end of a month, it made so 6 wins times 250. That is right there. That's including the losses. So 1,500 pips. You know, if you're doing 100 lot, like with a 100K count, you multiply that by 100 or $10. That's 15,000 per account. That's pretty good profit for a month, and just taking with this one strategy for a 1-to-1. I think it's less stressful too, because you can just set and forget it. You just take a trade and then you let it run to TP or stop loss, and there's no news in between. Like you're not really skipping anything. You're just taking the trade every single day. So, I mean, as you guys can see, that was a lot of profit that kind of stacked up off just that one trade. So yeah, 3,050, 3,110, 3,210, 3,110, 5,419, 1,520, 964, 3,365, 3,265. So total profit 27,000 off like just that one trade. That's crazy, right? Because I have so many accounts that it added up. So yeah, I mean, this might be my staple. If it's just like one trade a day, it's pretty solid, and it covers itself. Like we never really have more than 2 back-to-back losses from the data that I have. So there's no entries here. There hasn't been any entries here, guys. I see your question right here, William. William said, Sean, you said there aren't any entries for the momentum pullback scalp. Was there an entry I took? Not valid. Yeah, I don't see any entries here, William. I think you might need to go back and rewatch the video because you might not understand the strategy. Let's see. So Daniel said you needed a buy signal before the close of the pullback. Yeah, so I don't see anything over here. Let's see. Vince is asking if there's one at 634. So there's one that technically came up like right over here at like 637. So, or actually, yeah, 634. So there's one right here that actually came up that Vince mentioned. Let me see if price was overextended at that period. But it was a bit overextended. I mean, if you're following just the criteria and you don't really care about the red flags, like you don't care if price is overextended or anything like that, then yeah, this would technically be an entry because price did push up. There was a buy signal, price pushed to the upside. It's kind of hard to tell, Vince, because right here, the trend hasn't really confirmed yet. Let me just go back to that candle. So your entry would have happened right here. Oh yeah, so that would have been an entry because the trend started to shift already. So we had a green bullish trend with regard to the trend meter. We had a bullish trend with regard to the pivots because the red pivot was below all the other ones. There was a buy signal here, price pushed up. This candle right here pulled back, and the entry would have happened right there. It happened pretty early in the session and it happened super quickly. It also happened while I was taking a breakout, so I wasn't really able to identify that. But if you did see that right there, that would have been the entry. It would have filled your order and then go straight to TP. This was actually the same entry as the breakout, basically, or the candle right after it. You just got in at a better entry point. So yeah, that was one right there, Vince, but I think that was the only one. Yeah, other than that, William, let me see. Yes, there was no entry right here, William, because there was no buy signal. So yeah, yours right here was not an entry for a momentum pullback scalp, because you need to have momentum. You entered right here, the momentum was a sell because it was a red signal. So this is the only entry right here that came up that Vince identified. It was kind of risky entry though, because it came up like right at open and it was kind of overextended. And then right here was another buy signal, but price never pushed above it, right? So there hasn't been an entry here for any momentum pullback scalps aside from this one here on open. So yeah, that one right there, I don't think would be an entry, or it definitely wouldn't be an entry, William, because there's no buy signal. That's the main criteria for it. Like if you look at the criteria here for the momentum pullback scalp. So that's step one, right? Identify direction of momentum. You took a buy there when the momentum was a sell. So you can't even get to step two from that specific entry that you took. So I'd probably recommend just going back and reviewing the video, William. Just go to the Discord channel or go to the YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube channel and just pull up, just go to strategy videos or go to the course. So the strategy video will be here. And then also if you're on the course, you just go to the course over here. If you guys don't have access to the course, just go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. This will give you access to the course. And then you go down to module 4. Module 4 right here is going to be the momentum pullback scalp strategy to review it, William. All right, there's still no entry, so it's fine, guys. I know it might seem like we're going off topic, but there's just nothing for us to take here to begin with. So it doesn't really make a difference for us at the moment because there just is no entries for us. We're looking for a buy signal here. The trend's currently bullish, so we need a buy signal here to come up. That buy signal is going to identify momentum, and we need price to push up, retrace, and continue up higher. Once we have that, we can take that for a buy, and then we can ride this to the upside. But until then, we don't have any entries here, right? So we just gotta sit tight. Looking over here at everybody else's profits. So let's see, we got a couple more profits over here from, copy this over. We have a couple more profits over here from Jamie. So we have Jamie, she took a buy earlier as well. Total profit of 930 for the day. Nice work, Jamie. And she took the breakout. So, you know, a lot of people here like the breakout. It's pretty solid. Let's see, Vincent said, I don't think I can see the correct link to the spreadsheet. So Vincent, you're looking at the wrong one. So Vincent said there's no links on that one. There's no links on that one because that's the strategy one. I'm not gonna, well, I mean, I could create links for that, but that's just gonna be so much work for me to do. So I'm probably not gonna do that. So the links would be on the one above it. It's gonna be on the 2023 official live trades, because this one I already have the links for. So like whenever I take a trade, so for example, this is why I've been documenting these trades right here. So we took this trade right here, right? And I put the link there. So I'm basically just copying this over to the spreadsheet, which should be right there. Yeah, it's all good, Vincent. I know it's kind of confusing. You know, maybe in the future, I'll put the links for the strategy testings as well, because I'm also testing this. So I might put the links for the breakout V2, because I actually really like this strategy. I made like 27,000 in like one trade across all my accounts. So it's pretty solid. Not all the accounts are funded, guys. So just a FYI. So looking over here, I just want to be transparent to you guys. I'm doing a challenge for a lot of these actually. The only funded accounts here I have are my FTMO. So basically these four right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these four right here are funded. This is a challenge. This right here is a challenge as well. I believe it's TFF. This is TFF. Okay, so this top one is funded engineer. That's a challenge. This is my funded FTMO, this one, this one, this one, this one. This one right here is going to be my 100K funded engineer challenge. This is my personal account. I logged in 964. And then these two right here are TFF accounts. So, yeah, those are, I just want to be transparent. They're not all funded accounts because MFF kind of screwed everybody over. I'm not using the MFF accounts right now. I mean, I got to see what happens with them. I think their date is until or it might be tomorrow, I think. Let me see my Forex funds. September 11th, so not tomorrow. It's going to be later. So I can't use my MFF accounts right now. I'm basically, I kind of just YOLO'd out and then went and bought other funded companies because, I mean, at this point, it's like, all right, I'm going to make my money real quick. I'm going to pass the challenge, get a refund, and then get as many payouts as possible, and then just move that over to my personal account. So this is my personal account down here, like I mentioned. I still made about 1,000 on that account, my personal. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep making profits, and I'm going to keep funneling those profits into my personal account. And then I'm just going to try to use that account as much as possible. It's just on my copier, so it's not really, I'm not really doing anything extra. It's kind of just copying to my personal account. So let's see, iPhone said I will not be trading at night anymore. It's too risky. Yeah, the market was pretty much flat at night, iPhone, and then it kind of flat. It had like a crazy movement. Like it started dumping and then it came back up and then dumped right back down. That's why I don't trade at night at all. I just trade in the morning. It is a bit risky. So the Fed is now starting to speak, guys, right here at 7 o'clock. Fed Harker is speaking right now. So we're probably going to be looking for, well, we're looking for a buy signal. That's the main step. And then we're going to look for price to kind of push up, retrace, and continue. So I think I'm done trading my MT4 for the day. I'm pretty solid. I like what I locked in for the day. I'm probably just going to trade on my my top step. The thing that's kind of annoying about this is that I have to have two different computers. So I have my laptop right here on this side. That's how I took the breakout earlier. So I got like 4 screens now that I kind of have to look at. The good thing is that my laptop is only used for it's only used for entering trades on my MT4. So let's see, we have some more profits here from Kenneth. Kenneth locked in a total profit of 3,825. Nice work, Kenneth. Yeah, not sure if you took that trade with us earlier, but you did some pretty good profit right there for just one day. It's pretty big. So solid profits right there, Kenneth. Let's see. Save Jamie's as well. We got Gian over here, total profit of 1,010 for the day. Nice work, Gian. Took that earlier entry with us as well. We have Andreas over here, total profit of about 1,000 for the day. Nice work, Andreas. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of you guys took that earlier trade with me. If not, you guys took the liquidity push. I mean, there's a lot of entry that you guys could have taken. We have Patricia over here. She said most likely done for the day. She locked in a total profit of 1,270, or sorry, 1,207 on her first account, 945 on her second account, 574 on her third account, and a total profit of 2,464 on her fourth account. All wins. Nice work, Patricia. So great profits right there across all your accounts. There's no entry here. We have a buy signal, but price hasn't pushed up. So we need price to push up, retrace, and continue. If we don't get that, then there's no entry. So we're pretty much just waiting for this here to continue along. And here goes Patricia on her new futures account. She locked in 510. Nice work, Patricia. Yeah, great work, guys. You guys did pretty solid so far. Looking over here at the Discord. You have Gian here at 1,110 as well. So I'll keep updating that. So yeah, guys, if you guys have access to the Discord, you're probably going to be better off just focusing on the Discord because I'll be doing all the updates on here. So everything's kind of organized right here, and I'm going to be updating these results as time continues to go along. Yeah, Kenneth, if you're in the premium, you already have access to the Discord. So I'll go over here and I'll repost it in there. Let's see, I'll repost the Discord link. There we go. I mean, I'm probably gonna have to make changes to it, like not big changes, but I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. But yeah, the Discord is open to the premium members. So Kenneth, I think I'll tag you in it. There you go. Yeah, there's not really too much in the Discord yet. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's pretty much set through, but it's not necessarily fully done yet. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on the Discord page. All right, so the price never pushed up right here, so there's no buy entry for the momentum pullback scalp. There's now possible opportunity for a sell here. We just need to see that the trend will shift. So basically, if price comes down lower, we need to confirm that this red pivot crosses above all the other pivots. Yeah, so shout out to you guys for like pretty much bringing back the breakout. The breakout used to be everyone's favorite strategy. If you guys traded with me last year, like last summer and the summer before that, the breakout was like the main thing we applied, right? You guys like that because it was so easy to apply. You kind of just take one entry a day for the breakout, and it's pretty solid. Either hit your TP or your stop loss. Our win rate was so solid that was like literally the only trade a lot of people would take. So I just made some small adjustments, to the TP stop loss because of the current market conditions. And then also I just changed the entry time because the problem with the original breakout was that there was too much subjectivity. And like, it was just hard to tell where price was going. I think the breakout is solid. It's the good part is that it's a 1-to-1. So it's like super, super convenient for a lot of people. Let's see. Vince is asking, was that a high low momentum at 701? Let me see. Yeah, it looks like it could have been. Let me check real quick. So price came down, there's lower low, price pushed up. This candle broke and closed past it. Yeah, so that would be a high low momentum scalp right there. Looks like it barely hit. Or I don't even know if it did hit, but it looks like it barely hit if it did. Actually, no, it wouldn't be, Vince. I just realized there's a sessions right there. So it's right at the sessions. See the purple line? The red flags apply for the high level momentum scalp. So it's right at the purple line right there. I think that's one thing that a lot of people forget, that the red flags still exist, guys. Like there's only like a few strategies where the red flags aren't applied. And yeah, the high level momentum scalp, obviously, that's going to be, and it was also the news candle too. Thanks, Randy, for the heads up. Yeah, I forgot it was news. That was when Harper started speaking. So you can see over here, once the Fed started speaking, price initially pushed up and it came right back down. So it's basically like reaction to the news. The volatility here is pretty much dying down. As you guys can see, the volatility went from like 24 down to 18. So we had this nice movement in the beginning. And this is another reason why the breakout's kind of nice, because you can take that entry where the volatility is high and then everything starts to die down after that. So moving into the fall season, if the volatility picks up and it remains to be consistent, then we'll change the TP stop loss from 25 to either 30, 40, 45, or 50. I mean, it just depends on how the movement is, right? If you guys remember the breakout before, when you used to play the breakout post-COVID, the market was super volatile. So you could take the breakout for an easy 500 pips. It's not the case now because the market's not necessarily moving that quickly. So, we're going to adjust with the market, guys. But once I finish the data, so again, like I mentioned earlier, guys, once I finish the data with all the trades here, we'll see how like the market was moving or how the market will be moving the next following year. So I think this is beneficial for everybody. Everything that I do here in the community is for the benefit of everybody here, for all of you guys and myself, because this makes things easier for me to identify, okay, what strategy should I be using during this specific time? And also, how much risk should I be taking, right? So if you look at January of last year, you guys can see our TPs and profits were a lot higher, right? So you can see over here from the breakout, it was 500 pips. Momentum scalp was 100, breakout 2.0 was 1,500. We were taking some big moves here. The default was 250 versus what we have now, which is 100 because the volatility is so low. So, swinging back into the next following year, we'll be able to use that to our advantage. If anything, I'll go back and I'll document 2022 trades as well. If I have some extra time, I'll just go back and document all the trades from the previous year so that maybe we can see, okay, if that was how it was moving in 2022, then maybe 2023, September, October, we should be applying these strategies and we should be using this type of risk. So I'm doing everything for the benefit of everybody here, guys. Like I'm pretty excited because now that we have all this data, I think next year is going to be super, super profitable. I mean, it's very profitable now, but I think next year is going to push us to that next level because we have so much data to look at. You know, I feel like a lot of people, they keep jumping from strategy to strategy, but they don't really document their journey, and then they can't look back at it in the future, like the next following year. But everything we do here is documented. We have all the live session videos, so I think it's pretty solid. See, Randy said, I'm still thinking about lot sizing. Well, I mean, if you're scared about lot sizing, then lower your lot size, right? I'm not scared about lot sizing because I don't plan on losing. Like I have that confidence where I can take the trade at that lot size, and whether I win or I lose, I won't be affected by it, right? It's like what we talked about yesterday, Randy. Your psychology is not there, right? Your psychology has to be there. If you're scared, then you either have to lower your lot size or just don't trade, right? You have to take a break. If you're scared, the market's not for you. Like you can't be trading scared. When you trade, you have to like absolutely know you're going to win that trade, and you can't be scared of it. Like for example, when I took the breakout earlier, that trade went into some massive drawdown, right? You guys didn't see me flinch. I was like, whatever. If it hits stop loss, it does, and if it doesn't, then even better. So you just have to. It's up to the person, Randy. For me, I'm not going to lower my lot size because then I'm just going to lower my profitability. If that's the case, then I lower my lot size. Then that whole day is going to be a lower lot size day for me, right? My win rate is kind of pretty high, so I have the ability to take the lot size that I'm okay with taking. But yeah, I mean, it's up to you, and when you trade, it's just up to you. Like you guys got to remember, you're in control of your account. You guys don't have to do what I'm doing. If I'm taking a 200 lot size or a 100 lot size, that's because I'm confident in my trading, and I don't plan on losing. If you plan on losing, then maybe lower your lot size or take something smaller, because then that's going to give you some peace of mind if the trade does go into drawdown. So you guys just got to keep that in mind. It's all about psychology, guys. I don't have control over your account. Like, I can trade with no emotion, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you guys can. Even if the strategy shows that it works, and even if I have the data here that it works, it's not going to make a difference. If you're scared, you're going to be scared regardless. So it's just going to be up to your preference. If you want to use the lot size that I'm using, or if you want to use a smaller lot size, it's just, it's up to your preference. Yeah, no, exactly, Randy. I just want to make it clear too, because not everybody's on the same level of trade psychology and the same level of just consistency and discipline. Because I get off the live session at 8 o'clock, right? I still see a lot of guys post profits, and that's really up to you guys. Some of you guys will make a lot of profits, some of you guys will have losses, but you guys just have to accept that happened because you decided to trade after 8, right? If you win profits, that was because of you. Like you did the good job of continuing to trade and staying disciplined. But if you lose a trade, you can't blame anybody but yourself, right? Because I already told you guys, 8 o'clock, I'm cut off. So if you guys want to keep trading, it's up to you. But if not, then you got to accept the risk. Yeah, exactly. But Harwick said all in. So you guys are in control. You're in control whether your account consistently has growth or your account consistently has a downward spiral. It's just really up to you how you want to handle the account. If you don't care, here's the thing too, like with me, I'm funded already. So, well, for the most part, I'm funded with my FTMO accounts and then my personal account. So I don't really have to, like, if I want to take smaller lot sizes, I can. But for me, I'd rather risk maybe blowing the account and then just doing another challenge versus making these baby profits along the way, right? Because you guys have to realize these funding companies, you don't know what's going to happen next. Like with MFF, I regret not taking my payouts every week because now MFF is like gone and I just lost out on that payout. So you guys have to just, my mindset's different. My mindset's to milk these funding companies as much as possible and then basically transfer it over to my personal account. Because my personal account right here, you can see I'm not taking them as much risk. My personal account, I'm making 1,000 per trade. Every other account's making like 3,000. So all I care about is my personal, because I don't want to blow that. My funding companies, I'm going to milk it as much as I can and transfer that money to my personal account and then continue trading that. So, all right, guys, looking at the charts over here, we don't have any entries yet. We have a sell momentum, but the trend has not shifted downwards yet. So we're waiting for this red pivot over here to cross over above all the other pivots. And then down below the red trend meter as well, it's also red. So we have a somewhat bearish trend. It's not bearish yet. We need to wait for this red pivot to cross above all the other ones. But we do have a bearish momentum. So we're technically maybe looking for a sell right here. It's not confirmed yet, but we're probably going to be looking for a sell as long as price continues to drop from where it's currently at. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any problems with like trade psychology or just like being consistent, always feel free to reach out or pop into the chat, guys. Like, you guys can't get help unless you guys reach out to me. Like Randy here reached out to me yesterday and we talked, and it kind of helped him understand things and how my perspective of trading. My perspective and my style of trading doesn't necessarily fit everybody, but it can if you let it. It's just really up to preference, like I mentioned. All right, there's no entries here yet. We have price kind of shifting below. We need this to drop down a little bit lower, retrace and continue down. We need this pivot basically to cross above all the other pivots. Once we have that, we'll have a downwards trend. And then from that point, we can maybe start looking for a sell. We don't have anything yet, but that is basically what I'm looking for at the moment. One thing I haven't looked at is the overall bias for today too. So today's overall bias. So we got retail sentiment, fundamental bias, short-term technicals, long-term technicals. All right, so looking over here at the retail sentiment is still flat, 56% short. This indicates that 56% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So, I mean, it's pretty much flat right now. I don't really have a bias, but it is 56% short. So retail sentiment neutral, 56% short. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently, they're flat too. -30, also neutral. Short-term technicals, short-term to neutral. You can see the 1 minute is bearish, 5 minutes kind of neutral, and 10 minutes kind of neutral. So this is neutral. Looking over here at the higher time frames, it's bearish neutral right now. Price is below the pivots, but it's kind of in between here on the 30 and the 1, but it's still below the pivot. So with that said, we'll put bearish neutral here for long-term. But as you guys can see, there's not really too much of a bias. That's why price isn't really moving too much. We're still early in the fall season, or it's not even fall yet. It's still September 7th. I mean, it's starting to feel like fall, but it's not necessarily fall yet, like with regard to the trading season. We got to wait until like maybe late September for the market to really pick up. You guys can see the volatility over here. It's pretty decent, but it's not great. ATR is currently at 17. Our limit for ATR is going to be 15. So if the market doesn't continue moving, then we're just going to go back to a flat market, right? But this is pretty much what we're looking for. We're looking for price to drop down lower, retrace up, and continue dropping from that point there. Here is the clean chart. I'm going to go and mark up structure over here so that you guys can see what's going on. Higher high right there. Higher high right there. Lower low right there. All right, so you guys can see right here, there's not really too much going on. I mean, price is coming back down from that big push to the upside. Looks like price is attempting to come back down to opening price, right? It's not there yet, but it's attempting to come down to opening price. So target price point right here would be opening price, of course. The trend here still hasn't shifted for the pivots. We're looking for this red pivot to cross above all the other pivots. Hasn't came down yet. But yeah, looking at this here, Maddie said might get a high level momentum scalp if the buy pushes back up. Yeah, exactly, Maddie. Possibly. That could be a possibility as well. This might be a fake out right here. then price might swing all the way back up. It's currently at the support, so that could be the case too, where price will bounce off the support and then swing right back up from where it's currently at. There's just a lot of scenarios right here, but nothing for us to necessarily follow through and look at. Let's see, Jamie's asking, was there a V1 at 10:10? I'm assuming you meant, well, yeah, 7:10 your time. So there's no V1 right here at 7:10. You would need to have a double body on the bottom side. So, well, also there's no bias. So for one, there's no bias, so there'd be no V1 at all, but also there's no V1 pattern here either. There's because you're looking for a pending buy, right? So like, for example, here there's a sell signal, you're looking for a double bottom, or like you're looking for this right here. This would be a V1 pattern. But over here at 7:10, there's a pattern on top, but there's already a V1 right there. I mean, there's a momentum. So yeah, the criteria isn't necessarily met there because you need to have a pending momentum. So you need to have like a buy signal here before you can take this as a double body. And then also on top of that, you would need the bias as well to be bearish or bullish so that you have a direction to trade in. Let's see, Randy said momentum pullback didn't fill at 7:17. Would have been nice. Yeah, it would have been nice, right? If it came up right there. The trend still hasn't, well, it didn't confirm yet. I mean, even right now, it hasn't confirmed, but if it did confirm and everything lined up, that would have been nice because it'd be a smooth move to the downside right there. So yeah, that would be a nice move right there, Randy, if it did play through. All right, price is now at open. It bounced directly off opening price, which was that blue line. And we'll see what happens here. I mean, if price continues to move along, the trend here still hasn't shifted yet. So if you look over here at the pivots, the red pivot is still not above the purple pivot, or sorry, why I say purple, the orange pivot. So there's still no opportunity there just yet. I just saw your text, Gian. I'll take a look at it later. But yeah, no, thanks for the tip. Take a look at that once we're done here with the live session. But yeah, there's just no confirmation of trend yet. If you look over here at the pivots, this is the main thing we're looking for. So this is a catalyst for our trend confirmation here. I know price is below the pivots, but the trend still hasn't really confirmed. You need to confirm the pivot, the trend on the pivots and also on the trend meter. So if we get a push to the upside and then come back down, then that's going to be helpful. But right now, we just don't have anything. Yeah, if we get a buy signal here, this is fine because price can just push up slightly, give us another sell signal, and then we'll just catch that continuation to the downside. But as you guys can see, there's not really too many entries right now. Volatility is very low. Looking at the, what was I looking at? Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I was looking at the news. So I was going to see what was the news here at 7:30. News at 7:30 over here is just gas news. It's low impact news, but it's affected in the past, so you want to be a little careful. It's basically low to medium gas news coming up. Vince said possible high level momentum scalp coming up. Yeah, possibly. There's a lower low right here. There's a lower low, so if you get a buy signal that breaks and closes past pivots 1 and 2, this could be a high level momentum scalp that you guys are looking for. That strategy has been pretty successful lately, so a lot of you guys have been applying it. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good strategy, to be honest, in my opinion. You guys want to take that. But again, as I mentioned, there's too many strategies here that we can apply. So you just have to figure out one that you like and then just stick to it. That's probably like your best option. If the market's ranging like this, then yeah, the high level momentum scalps are probably one of your best options because it's a ranging strategy. But looking down here, you guys can see the ATR starting to slow down a lot. It's down to 16. 16 is not the number we're looking for. You want it to be above 15. But if it goes down to 16, it's probably going to lower down to 15. And then from there, it's going to lower down to 14. And from there, you can't even take any entries, right? So you just want to stay a little consistent with the ATR and volatility, but you guys can see here, it's pretty clear that the market's not really moving too much. It's kind of just staying flat. Here is the clean chart. As you guys can see, there's not really too much going on here. Price is just consolidating along this support level. So you guys can see the consolidation there, which is completely fine because, you know, sooner than later, price is going to bounce off here or it's going to break down below. It's going to go in one direction or the other. It's going to break out of this range, this consolidation range, and then it's going to continue climbing or to continue dropping. Looks like price is attempting to continue dropping here, which is fine. We do have the pivots here that are now confirmed. So you can look for a possible entry here if price does pull back up. So if we get a retracement here, the closest entry would be at the 20 mark. I'm going to look for this on my top step. So it looks like 20 would be the closest level or closest point of entry. So basically you're looking for the only problem is if you have news coming up right here in about 6 minutes. The news is coming up pretty quick. So it might be best to just sit out. It's also at opening price. So if I do take this, I'll only take it on my top step. Not going to take it on my MT4s. It's just a little bit too risky of a move right here. My top step's kind of like a YOLO account at this moment. So kind of just let it, I'll see if I can get something there. The only problem with Top Step is a copier. I wish Top Step had a better copier. If they did, then I'd be more inclined to use them, but the copier just sucks because I have to do everything manually. It's like not even, it's not too useful because I have more accounts on my MT4, so it makes sense to focus on MT4 versus, you know, the Top Step. Unless I go on and start using NinjaTrader, which might be the case, you know, in the future. I might just have to go and buy a laptop so I can install NinjaTrader and use their copier. All right, so if this green candle right here closes below this black line, technically the entry, okay, so it closed above it. Technically the entry would be right here at the 20 mark. If you guys are looking to take this here. The volatility is super low. I don't know if I'm going to take it. I'll just hold off on it. I'll watch it for a while because the volatility here is just way too low. I don't want to taking trades when the volatility is so slow like this because I want it to hit my TP right away. I don't want to be holding on to the position for like 4 minutes and then it hits news and then it spikes in one direction or the other, right? It's too close to news right now. News is going to happen in about 4 minutes. If you guys want to take it, I marked up the trade right here. The entry would happen at the 20 mark. So at 34,420 is where the entry would happen. You have your sell limit sitting right there. It's just too close to news and the volatility is too low. So I'm not expecting it to hit my TP before it reaches news. And that's the reason why I wouldn't want to take the trade here. But your entry would happen right there at the 20 mark. So I got it marked up right there. Again, news is happening right here at 7:30. So I'm not going to take it. We'll follow right there. So I'm not in the position, guys. Take this at your own risk if you guys want to. The trade technically would have filled at this point. But again, you guys can see the volatility is just a little too low for me. I mean, it's probably going to hit TP, but I personally don't want to risk it. If the volatility was higher, it'd be nicer because it'll fill the order and then go straight to your TP. Right now, it's kind of just like sitting around. It's probably going to hit TP though. So it's currently in profit. It's almost a full TP. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to get caught in. See how price is like not really doing anything? It's kind of just going flat. So if this closes with a buy signal, you guys are technically supposed to close out for a small loss. Okay, it didn't close out, so it's still technically running. But if it did close with a buy signal, technically you're supposed to close out for either a small loss or a small profit. The trade's still running. So still running right here. I'm missing might just dump down as it gets closer to news. But again, this is exactly what I was avoiding. So you guys can see, like I pretty much predicted this was going to happen, right? I said I didn't want to take it and then hold on to the position for like 4 minutes, and then news happens, and then it either hits TP or it spikes the opposite direction. That's a worst feeling because you have no control over it. You don't really know what's going to happen. So looking over here at the ATR, it also died down. ATR is currently at 14. Looks like it's going to hit TP. Almost there. If you guys want to pull out the profit here, I mean, I would pull out a profit right here. There you go, full TP. So if you guys held on to it, you guys can see the strategy works fine. It's just the volatility was too low. So if you guys took it, great. If you guys didn't, it's fine too. I'm going to go ahead and just mark up the, I'm going to mark up the trade, because this is going to be put into our journal of the trades identified here in the live session. So I'll put the criteria up here too, so that we have this lined up in the future for you guys who want to go back and look at it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. And this was a momentum pullback scalp for 100 pips. So this kind of paid off. Like you guys can see how I document all the trades. This pays off because I could go back and just put them in my spreadsheet over here with all of the trading view links. So it's pretty nice being able to just put all the data here and then being able to have the link right there. So if you want to pull it up, you're like, okay, there's a trade that Sean identified, and then I have a screenshot of it ready. So that's the main reason why I do that, because that there helps us document the trades, and then it'll help us in the future if we want to look at like what happens, you know, from there. So that's super useful. I think it's extremely useful. And it's going to be even more useful to the people who actually know how to use it, or who actually use it. I feel like I'm going to put all this data up there. There's only going to be certain people who use it, right? The people who are very good at trading and who are very profitable, they're going to be the ones using it, because they're going to see the value in having, you know, every trade documented here. But yeah, other than that, let me see. There's more profits over here. So here is, I think this is Marcin, right? Marcin locked in a total profit of 75.79 for the day. All wins. Nice work right there, Marcin. You guys did pretty good right there. Looks like Marcin took the momentum pullback scalp. So guys, just to show you guys, that was the entry that we were looking for. So we had a sell momentum here. We waited for the trend to shift right here. Trend shifted to a bearish trend. Price came down, retraced up, entry happened right here, and then went straight to TP. Typically, volatility is high enough, it'll go straight to TP like within the first couple of minutes. It did here on the second minute, but it did kind of go sideways for a bit. And that's kind of what I was worried about when looking to take the entry there. But nonetheless, the trade played out perfect, and it did what it was supposed to do. So solid profits right there, guys. It's 7:31 right now, so we're going to see if we can maybe find another opportunity here. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see this. It's going to be difficult for us to really pick anything up if the volatility is so low. The volatility is now at ATR. You guys can see the ATR is down at 14. It's pretty flat right now. While we do this and we're waiting for another momentum signal, I'm going to start transferring over some of this stuff. So I'm going to go over here to the official profits, and then I'm going to that right there. So I'm basically just documenting everything. So like, it's going to be easy for us to look at this in the future. I'm going to close my laptop. So I'm not really looking at taking much move on that. Yeah, so what I'll do here now, there's not really anything for us to take right now. I'll keep looking back at the chart, but there's just nothing for us to take at the moment. What I'll do here is I'll start transferring over people's profits. So this is Jamie's profits for the day. And up here as well. Jan posted his already. We have Andreas here. We got Patricia here. The cool thing with this is that we can put them in order too together. All right. So if you guys have more profits to post up, feel free to post them up. I'm looking at the charts over here. I don't know if we're going to have another entry. We'll see if the volatility picks up. Looking at ATR right now, it's currently at 14, so the volatility is very low. In order for us to take any entries, ATR has to be at least 15. It's just dropping lower. As you guys can see, the ATR is now at 13. So it's just getting worse as time progresses. But anyways, if we're looking for another entry here, which we're looking for a buy signal to confirm the retracement. Then we're looking for a sell signal to confirm the continuation. Then we're looking for a retracement, small retracement, and continuation. So retracement, momentum, direction, pullback, and then continuation from there. So that's basically what we're looking for. Hopefully, this will be useful for us, but we'll see where it goes. D's asking, I'm in Discord now. You're going to start posting the Zoom links there instead as Telegram as well. Yeah, exactly, D. So if you look over here at the Discord, I'll have to just update yours over here. I think you just joined, D. Yeah, D. So over here on the Discord, it's going to be pretty much separate. It's going to be easier for you to find. Because if you go down right here to the premium, it's going to say live Zoom links, and you'll find the Zoom link right there, D. So it's going to be a lot easier. It's not going to be all lost in the chat. Because for example, over here, we have a chat, and the problem with Telegram is that the chat gets kind of full, right? So you can't see where the link's at. You have to kind of zoom up or scroll up. Now you just go to this tab over here. It says premium live Zoom links, and the Zoom link will be posted right there. So it's actually a lot more organized compared to the Telegram. So if you guys are in the premium on the Telegram, go ahead and start migrating over to the Discord. Everything's organized here. It's a lot easier to find things. And then I will, we're just going to slowly migrate over. So it's not going to be an immediate thing. I'll still be posting everything here on the Telegram, but eventually we're going to start focusing mainly on the Discord over here. So it's going to take some time. The migration is not going to happen right away. It's going to take some, maybe a couple of months before we can get everything over. Yeah, no problem, dude. Patricia said, Sean, I'm hopping off. Thank you. Don't want to lose any profits and trade something stupid. I agree with you too, Patricia. So good idea right there. The volatility is too low, so there's nothing to take here anyways. So sounds good, Patricia. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the next live session. So for tomorrow, I don't know if I'll take a breakout. The reason why I might not take a breakout tomorrow is because looking at the data here, majority of the losses happened on Friday. I mean, there were some Fridays where there were wins, but so I'm just looking over here, on August 18th was a Friday. Trade came at 6:38. It was a loss. Right here on Friday, August 25th, it came earlier at 6:32 and it was a win. And then right here on Friday, September 1st, it was a loss as well. So I mean, we'll see. If that's the case, we just skip on Fridays, but I don't know, I'll have to pull more data here before I can continue. Before I can continue with what we're doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and just update this real quick. So what's today? 9/7/23. Trade happened at 6:32. It was a sell win. So right here, then we have another win, so now 13 wins. Profit is now 9. So I just update the data right there. I'll put this on the thing as well. I'll probably make some adjustments to the spreadsheet, so it's kind of similar to the official trades, because this one's actually a lot more organized. And then maybe I'll put some screenshots of it as well. But yeah, no, I'm just testing this to see how I like it. If I like it, then I'll start taking these as official entries and whatnot. But other than that, let's see, let's go back to the charts. All All right, so price is pushing up. Volatility kind of picked up a little bit, but it's still kind of flat. ATR is currently at 15 right now, so it's a little decent, but it's not great. It's just a little decent right now. We need it to stay above 15. If it goes back below, there's no opportunity for entry. So that's going to be something that I have to look out for. So we currently have a buy signal here that's pending. If this buy signal closes, that's completely fine. But we now have to look for the trend here to shift because the trend is still bearish. We need the trend here to shift to a bullish trend before we start looking for any entries for a buy. So let me just scroll up real quick. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions over here. James is asking, so out of curiosity, why didn't we take it if it was valid? Sorry, James, I'm not sure if you just missed like the whole explanation for it. But the main reason was because it was close to news, and then also because the volatility was too low. Entry came up, and then it was at like ATR was like at 14, 15. So it was too slow. ATR has to be at 15. That's part of the requirements. So there's a lot of reasons there why we didn't take it. But the main reason was that news was coming up. And if you want to go back and rewatch the live session to like have the the full explanation, there is a lot of reasons here. It says ATR here must be 15 or above. It was at like 14 at point of time of entry, which was like, what was it? Yeah, so the entry happened like somewhere around here. You can see the ATR down below here is at 14. So the ATR was low. It was also right next to news. News right here at 7:30. And then also, I mean, it wasn't a good trade at all because of like all those reasons. There's so many different confluences indicating that, the trade might just go sideways for a while. And that's pretty much what happened. The trade went sideways for a while, but eventually it did come back down where it was supposed to go. So yeah, if you guys missed the explanation for like any of the entries that we identified and followed, just go back and rewatch the replay later, because that's how it's going to help you guys understand. It helps you understand a lot more when you see it actually happening versus me kind of explaining it later. Because when I explain it later, the explanation might change slightly, because now we know that obviously price was kind of going sideways and it did come back down. But if you listen to my explanation before like it actually happened, you guys will have a better like real-time understanding to like, okay, what was I looking at? How did I identify that? Why did I decide not to take it? And the reasoning behind it is more transparent versus, explaining it after the fact. So see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. I'm just going to scroll up because I think I missed a couple of questions here. Let's see. Okay, I see. Yeah, so it looks like the entry that that William identified, he said he called it the wrong scalp method. We were on Zoom, full TP. Counter scalp. Yeah, so let me look back at that over here. So the counter scalp actually happened over here for a sell, William. So that was still the wrong entry that you were, or actually, no, you're right. No, sorry, I'm sorry. I totally looked at the wrong thing. So yeah, you are right, William. Are you still on here? Yeah, William, you're still here. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of different strategies that they kind of sound similar and they have a similar name to it. But yeah, so what William was applying was the other strategy that we were testing. So basically right here at 6:30, price pushed up. We had a sell signal. He looked for 2 green candles, which is right here and right here. And that's where he took the entry for the buy. So that was an entry for that specific strategy, William. And you did identify that properly, and it went straight to your TP. So you did, that was a good job there, William, identifying that. But it's all good. Yeah, I was confused because you were calling it like the momentum pullback scalp, and we typically don't look for that entry until like after 7 anyways. So yeah, you did right on that right there, William. Thanks for the clarification so that, there's no confusion and you actually understand what you're doing there. Let's see. Kevin said, could this be a possible momentum pullback scalp? And he's asking if it might be a little too overextended. So looking over here from this lower low, It's a bit overextended. Yeah, you did identify that properly too, Kevin. It's a little overextended. The volatility is picking up, but it is a little bit overextended, as you can see. So if you guys are familiar with like how I identify if market is overextended or not, I typically go from the nearest low and I measure it up. Typically overextension happens at like 1,000 pips. And you can see that price is well past that. So while the next entry could be a possible entry, like an entry if you follow criteria, it's going to be considered risky because just like what Kevin said, it's a little overextended. And then on top of that, the volatility is kind of back and forth. So if you guys want to take this entry right here, I'm going to mark it up for you guys if you guys want to take it. But for me right now, I'm being a little more conservative, like I mentioned earlier, with my entries. I mean, if anything, I can take it on my trader bait, maybe just one account versus taking it on like all of the accounts. Let's check liquidity too. So Daniel said we do have a second touch of liquidity right above as well, which could be good. Yeah. So price could be attempting to retest the liquidity up here. And that could be another confluence that price will likely continue to climb up higher, right? So yeah, if you guys want to take it right here, you can possibly, this would be, or you have to wait for the red candle to close first. So the red candle actually didn't even close yet. So there's still no entry at the moment. All right, so there's still no entry there, Kevin. Same thing that we were looking for. It's overextended, but there's still no entry yet. But you did identify it properly. We're looking for this red candle to close. And once the red candle closes, then you can look for your opportunity for direction. But right now, it's just not. And there still is no entry yet. At this point, yeah, price is definitely going to be considered overextended because price is pushing up higher. But there's a lot of confluences here indicating that price will likely climb up higher because we do have the liquidity there that Daniel just identified. And it looks like it's going to hit for that second touch, like you mentioned earlier. This one over here already hit for a full TP, and this right here would be the second touch of that level of liquidity. Looks like it's attempting to just wipe out the rest of the liquidity here. You guys can see the lower level liquidities right here. See all these highs? See how price came up and it just wiped out all that liquidity. There's liquidity sitting right here, right here, right here, right here. It pretty much wiped out all of this liquidity that was just sitting. So right there, right there, right there, right there. I know I don't really mark up liquidity on these lower time frames anymore, but if you guys know the original liquidity strategy, these here would be identified as those levels. So the entry might happen over here, Kevin, if you're looking to take it. Again, like this is a little too overextended for me, so I'm not looking to take it personally. Next level is going to be the 500 mark. It's got about 30 seconds left on it, so we'll see what happens here in the next couple of seconds if it ends up closing red. But that red candle is going to be crucial with identifying, where your entry is going to be at. All right, so price is kind of pulling back right here. The volatility is decent. It's at 17. It's not great, but it is decent. So it looks like the entry, and this is kind of hard to tell because the entry could have been right there at the 10 mark. I can't even tell. It looks like it closed slightly below it. Yeah, so the entry would actually be below here. If you zoom in really close, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but let's see coordinates. Yeah, it's hard to tell. The entry would have either happened right there or down there. I would probably take the next level if you're looking to take this entry. But again, like we mentioned earlier with Kevin's analysis, it is overextended and the volatility here is kind of slow again. It's kind of dying down. So if you guys want to take the entry, that'd be the entry right there. I'm not taking it, I'm just following it. There's just a lot of reasons here why I wouldn't take it, mainly because of the overextension. The problem with this here is because if it pulls back, so say for example, it might pull back a little bit, but then it may come right back up. So it's just going to go into some drawdown before it actually pushes up. but it is a messy trade. Yeah, and the sell signal closed. So if you guys were to take this trade right here, as soon as that sell signal closed, you would have had to close out for break even. You would just be out right there at break even. It's just a messy trade. We kind of predicted that to happen because of like how the market was moving. But yeah, at this point, if you were in this position, like if your position got filled, you'd have to close out at break even right there. So you'd be out with little to no profit. Typically you probably get out with like you cover the spread with the entry since you got out at limit, got in at limit, and you probably would have been able to pull out for a small profit right there. But yeah, it's getting close to 8 o'clock, guys. So if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and take individual screenshots of my profits for the day, since we have some time. And then we'll see what happens here. But yeah, there's just no entries for us right now, guys. I'll take this off because there's no entry right here. Technically, you have to pull out for partial. Let's see, I'm gonna try to get these in order. So we got the fund engineer, my FT1 number 1, 3110. FT1 number 2, 3210. All right, so yeah, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm just screenshotting my individual profits right now because there's just nothing for us to take at the moment. Yeah, there's just nothing for us to take right now, so there's just no point. I'm trying to take these in order so that they'll match up with my profits for the day. There's just so many different accounts here for me to. And this will show you guys the power of using a copier. It's crazy how this thing added up. I took one trade today and this thing added up super crazy. I can't take my personal account. My personal account's on, oh, actually I can. I just never use MT5. See why MC5 looks a little different. So now I know why your profits look like people's profit posts look kind of slightly different because of the MC5 there. 33. I know there's a lot size cap on TFF, but not on a 200K count. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, if I knew they had a lot size cap, I would have just. There's a lot size cap, whack. I'm gonna have to ask them that. So I just have to get funded on this TFF account, and I'm gonna have to ask them to split it up. I just realized that they're they have a lot size cap for TFF. So I was kind of wary of getting a bigger account because a lot size cap is kind of what throws me off. All right, so I took a screenshot of all my profits over here, guys. I'm gonna go and post them up. Let's see. Let me go and post them over here in the group real quick. So the first account. Was 3,050. Second account was 2010, 2002. And these are a lot of profits. It's crazy how fast these added up. All right, so here goes the profits, and I'll post these up in my other account as well. So here's my first account. My first account, this is my funded engineer 200K locked in 3,050. Here's my FT1 number 1, 3,100. Here is my FT1 number 3, 3,200. My FT1 number 4, 3,100. My FT1 200K to 5,000. My funded engineer 100K 1,500. My personal account 976. My TFF 3,400, and then my last TFF 3,300. So those are pretty much all my trades for the day. And it's about to be 8 o'clock, guys. So it's about to be 8 o'clock. Volatility super dead. ATR is currently at 13, so there's just no opportunity for entries here. So if there's any other questions that you guys have, I don't see any other questions in the chat. We're pretty much just going to wrap this up. So, all right, guys, if there's any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live.